Welcome to AIBC Startup Pitch. I'm thrilled today to be joined by Simon Hooper from ReMeLife. Simon, how are you today?
I'm pretty good, thank you. Yes, I wish I was over there, but I'll make do with rainy London.
Well, of course, you're in rainy London, we're in glorious Malta, but it's a thrill to be able to speak to you anyway. Listen, Simon, let me explain this to you. I'm very excited to be talking to you, been finding out about what you do. I'm going to start off by asking you 5 questions. You have 3 minutes for these 5 questions, and then I will pick on some issues that you've spoken about, and we'll discuss that a little bit further in a few minutes. But are you ready for this?
I feel like I'm back at school. Perfect.
Number 1, Simon Hooper, what does your business do?
We are in a healthcare space focused on those who have cognitive difficulties or who are alone and isolated. So we produce software that supports those from diagnosis to end of life. So think dementia, elderly care, learning disabilities, MCI. And the software we produce is novel because it's not the usual sort of care planning software. It's what we call activities-based software. So we deliver digital activities, anything from cognitive stimulation therapy, reminiscence therapy, sophisticated things, but right through to Johnny coming home from school, wanting to get a picture of or video of his recent goal to grandma at home, because that has a really strong impact on well-being and quality of life. So we deliver digital activities, but we capture a very rich data set in background that we call ELR, electronic life records. It's a bit like what Facebook does and Amazon does, but we get it on an opt-in basis. And that data is used to improve the care process, to improve engagement between carers and families and communities with the person cared for. But what we go beyond that and do is we democratize that data. So we manage it so it's owned by the individual. They monetize it and make money from it. And we also manage the retail purchasing that community of people being cared for can undertake. So we democratize the retail margin in the products that they purchase. So we're basically addressing the fact that at the moment, the value of our data and our profile flies across the Atlantic to Silicon Valley. Not right, in my view, for that advertising model that we all know that delivers fake news and all the rest of it. And we also democratize that purchasing process. It doesn't seem right to us that Amazon should control the destiny of our retail habits. So we basically build a community of persons that support each other so that the value in the system stays in the system. So we bring money to the care world where they need it, to the associations, to the families, to those being cared for, in a manner that uses blockchain to underpin this. So there's a trust model that validates the whole proposition. So we're a community of supporting participants in the care process that use modern technology from AI to blockchain to bring the value to those that need it most.
Simon, that was a fantastic and very comprehensive answer. I'm concerned because we still have another 4 questions. Let me ask you.
I'm sure we can find something to talk about.
Let me ask you, because we've got I think we've got 1.5 minutes left. What difference can this make to the industry and beyond?
Yes, well, let's not. The blockchain and the ability to earn rewards is the key to this. So if you deliver a care solution, so for example, right now we're on, I don't know what it is, Zoom, I think, but in the care sector, soon you'll be on our system, which is called ReMeMeets. You'll be using our video conferencing tool. And instead of what's happening now, the data of this call flying to Silicon Valley, you'll be earning points, you'll be earning tokens through the blockchain system for engaging with your neighbor, for engaging with your family. Okay. You should be rewarded for supporting your next door neighbor, for engaging with community.
Well, you've answered the next question, which is what makes you different to everyone else in the market. So we're not going to go to that one. But I am interested.
Let me just voice that. No, you can't throw that question out and not let me answer it. That's not.
You've got 10 seconds left.
I'm not a great believer in structure. I used to get thrown out of the class in school. What am I going to do?
Listen, let me just ask you, where would you like to be in 2 years' time?
Well, where we're going to be in 2 years' time is that we will have a very sizable community. We have partnerships with Consensus, with the biggest hospital group in the world, with Sharp, and they bring us members with care associations. COVID has sharpened the senses of the care sector. Finally, they're recognizing that they can't dawdle anymore when it comes to adopting technology. They've got to get on with it. And they all know about us. I say all, but we're known globally and we've been growing slowly. Now suddenly we're growing fast. When COVID hit in February, we went from 50 or 60 care homes to 1,500 in 4 days.
Wow.
We gave the system away free, of course, so they didn't have to think much. But the point was they told us what they wanted, and what they wanted was, of course, technological solutions to the problems that they were facing. And who wants to use Zoom when it's taking your data and giving you nothing back? Why not have a system that takes the data, shares its value, and gives it back to the care system? And we've built these systems, these modules that reflect the needs of people in COVID and post-COVID, because we'll be in a very different world post-COVID. And we've built these systems that, as I say, make it completely unique. And because of that, there's absolutely no doubt that, we believe, I suppose I've got to add that in 2 years we'll be at scale. And that means 30, 40 million users using the tools that we have built that enable them to have a better care experience, improve quality of care, and generate returns for their data and their retail purchasing.
Okay, going to come to a question on that in just a second. But before we get there, your last question, and you're way out of time, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Tell me something about yourself that not many people know.
Not many people know. I'm a blues guitarist, but I'm terrible. So I'm told. I mean, I think I'm great. And, every now and then I feel imbued with the spirit of Jimi Hendrix, but my next door neighbors disagree.
Fantastic. I love that. That's a great answer to our 5 questions. Let me come back and ask you a couple of things, Simon, about you use the word democratized. What does that mean? Because when we're talking about blockchain, there's DAOs, there's a whole bunch of dialogue that's used, but I just want to make sure that everybody knows what democratize means.
I think democratize means many different things, obviously, but in the sense that we're using, it means that it means sharing. It means equitable and appropriate and socially fair sharing of the value in the systems. And when it comes to data, data is work. That is the known phrase. And you work and data is generated. You should be paid for your work. And Facebook and the other tech giants would argue they're giving you a system, and the average consumer accepts that the deal is they get to use your system for free, but their data disappears across the Atlantic. That's not equitable. Obviously, it's not equitable because they're the biggest companies in the world now, the tech giants. So they should be giving more back. So democratizing data means basically sharing.
Okay.
And we feel the same is taking place in the retail world. There's not an appropriate sharing. The high street's dying, quite frankly. So we're going to bring the high street online so that there's more sharing, more democratization of the value in the retail purchase.
So you also talked about this system benefiting those who are in care, who I'm assuming from what you were saying, who would benefit from stimulation. And you talked about whether that be an online service, an online engagement, or whether it just being able to see families and so on. But you talked about one thing, which was about a points system, benefiting from a points system and being rewarded for using your system. So how does that work? What are the points for?
Well, the points are for, again, the data, whatever data you decide to either donate for research purposes or gain the value of. The whole system is driven by tokens. So those tokens, you can think of them as ERC20s sitting on the Ethereum blockchain. They're a bit more sophisticated than that, but you are rewarded for doing what you do anyway. So if you talk to your mum using this system now, ReMeMeets are equivalent to Zoom, you will be rewarded. I mean, this has all come about from 15 years caring for my mother, who was paralyzed by misdiagnosis, lying in a bed, grumpily having to put up with her carers every day, walking into her room and saying, "Isn't it a lovely day today, Pauline?" And she really didn't want to discuss the weather every bloody day, 3 times a day. So it all started because I built a life story of her on the tablet. So the carers would walk in and say, "What a great day to fly in a Spitfire today," because she was involved in Spitfires during the war. Much better. She had a good time during the war. I won't go further than that. But once we learned about her past and imbued the carers with that knowledge, everything changed. She was having fun. The carers were having fun.
Yeah,
and the moods changed. She was off her medication. So that's how it all started. And that's the core. The core is delivering person-centered care through knowing the person. Okay. But if you're going to engage with your neighbor, you're more likely to engage with your neighbor if you find what that person's interests are, find commonality of interest. So if I found out my next door neighbor, who I've never met, never spoken to, liked Jimi Hendrix and guitar, I'd be around there like a shot. Even if it was 82 and cantankerous, I'd be around there like a shot.
But
That's
Simon,
what we do.
what can we're talking about these tokens, what can I redeem these tokens for?
We have a marketplace of affiliate product suppliers. You can think Amazon if you like, but they exist within our ecosystem, and they make their products available. So you can use those tokens to acquire the products.
So
it
you
all
provide
stays within the ecosystem.
You provide a service that has the purpose of stimulating and supporting those in care who need it.
Yes.
But
yes.
you reward them for using
yes.
your system because, of course, you're using their data
Yes.
by giving them tokens that they can redeem for items that they want.
That they need for care, yes. So for example, if Granny's taking medication, we have an Alexa suite. We're partners with Amazon. We've built a suite of Alexa care skills. We've made Alexa proactive. So Alexa will talk to you. So it'll say unannounced, unprompted, Jane, have you taken your medication?
Right.
And if she says, yes, I have, then she'll get a token.
Simon,
and my grandson will get in touch with her, my gran, even though she's pretty cantankerous, because he knows every time he does, he gets another token and can get closer to buying an Xbox skin on the back of tokens.
Thank you so much for joining us here at the AIBC Startup Pitch. Your product sounds incredible, and I'm looking forward to finding out more about it and hearing more about it. And thank you for your time.
Well, thank you, Trudy. But of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't suggest that you visit ReMeLife.com, take a look around, become a member, and then begin to gain tokens through talking to your next door neighbor, whoever that is.
Very cheeky, Simon, but I'll let you have that. Take care.
Thank you.